Oh wait, no longer greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to this show wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube at The Trophy Room Show. And if you like what you hear, please consider dropping us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And if you really, really like us, you can toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said, and with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, how are you, sir?
Happy to report that today is a good day.
Is it a good day?
Today's a good day. I woke up and decided to not beat myself up and to not really think of the things that are getting me down. So let's keep this train rolling. Happy to be here. Happy to talk PlayStation. We're both looking extra spiffy with some new equipment stuff. So I got new lights up there with the trophy room colors. Like, hell yeah, look at me. Look at me.
You know what? I'm immediately going to beat you down. You know what we forgot?
What did we forget?
Do you know what we forgot, Kyle? It's been 3 years since we've been doing the show.
No, it hasn't.
Yep.
Officially?
Since January 10th. It's been almost a month and you forgot our anniversary on our Valentine's Day episode, Kyle.
Here's some water. I don't know. I'm not prepared.
Exactly, I know. When I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, first off, we're really bad at anniversaries because I forget like the first video I've ever done. Like I've kept it, but like I don't know what day that is. I don't know the real start date of this show. Like it's just things have happened and we just keep constantly growing, and that's always really cool. And speaking of constantly growth.
To me, I feel like our anniversary is the first time I came on, which was before PSX, and that was in December. And then you asked me to
November.
be the It wasn't November. Like a week or two before PSX?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 weeks before.
Oh,
and you were getting psyched for it. Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. You were just a wee little tot. You didn't have
wee little tot. No.
Yeah. And now look at us, Kyle. We're a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, and it's official. We set goals and we break them almost instantly. Did we hit 1,000 followers on Twitter? Yes. How did we celebrate? By adding a new goal to get Shuhei Yoshida to follow the show on Twitter in less than 30 minutes, even with some spelling typos. Shuhei Yoshida follows the show, so pretty much we're as official gets. We're just one Jim Ryan, one Herman Hulse follow away from the PlayStation Exodia, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And Corey. I feel like Corey and Neil also have to be part of that.
Man, I feel like Corey and Neil are much easier gets than Herman Hulse, because when I look at Herman's Twitter bio, he's only following 200 plus people, and like he posts like every other day. Like he doesn't really.
That's
like
fair.
Twitter.
That's fair.
So I feel like if we get Herman, that's a golden goose, baby. Like,
that's true.
We've really made it if we're on Herman's radar. Yeah.
Shu, if you're listening, which you are because you follow us now.
What's up?
We love you. Thank you so much for the support. We love what you do. In our eyes, you are PlayStation, and we're honored. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely blown away. I was very giddy when it happened. Absolutely nuts. Shuhei Yoshida follows us. What a man. What a gentleman. What a scholar. And with that, Kyle, listen, we got some news to report on, some breaking stuff. Like we got the casting for Ellie for the Last of Us HBO show. We're going to be talking about E3 2021 versus the Summer's Game Fest. We're going to be talking about a possibility of a sequel to, and Shu, if you're listening, please make this happen, Bloodborne 2. But before we get into all of that, before we even get to more Bethesda news, oh yeah, there's still more. Kyle, it's usually what you've been playing. And since it's really light, let's put this in the beginning of the show.
Sure.
What have you been playing, Kyle?
This little game behind me right now, which you can see because of the new webcam that I got, I've been playing Control. I platinumed it again on PS5.
Yeah.
I've beaten the Foundation story-wise, the first DLC. And I think I'm halfway through AWE.
Nice.
Control is fucking special. Excuse my French, everybody. It is.
Please, this could be Shu's first episode. We really gotta.
Sorry, Shu.
Ease him in on the craziness. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Man, this game was special to me back in 2019 when we first played it and I first platinumed it. Yeah. Having to wait that much time before I played the DLC and to dive back into this world, like, this oldest house is one of the best settings for a game. Yep. The hiss are terrifying, and the architecture, the world, everything about it is frightening and creepy, and that's what I love about it. I love Jessie's whole journey throughout with the reason why she is going to this oldest house and what pulled her there, and I'm trying not to spoil it and everything. Foundation is more of the same almost. It's not my favorite thing.
Okay. Like I was going to say, how is the DLC? Because, like, 2019's original game, even with, like, the bugs and the frame rate drops and everything, that's your game of the year 2019.
Hell yeah, it is.
So how does this DLC live up to that?
DLC's, I mean, it's stellar. The only reason why, like, the Foundation isn't, I'm not singing its praises a whole lot is because it is a little bit more of the same, except we're not in the house. We're basically, like, underneath it. And
you're the oldest basement.
Yes. It's beautiful. It's a lot of it is taking place in the altered plane or the astral plane, right? Which isn't my favorite thing from the base game, if I'm totally honest. The new enemies are cool. The last boss fight is really cool. There's just something missing. Now, when we're talking about AWE, Joe.
Ooh.
Whoa! This is what I want from Control in the future. Is I want to go deep into the world of these objects of power, these altered world events. I want to explore those further, and like it's in the trailer. You see the man's face in the trailer, but this has to do with Alan Wake. And I never played the full game completely. I played like halfway through it, and man, it's awesome. Like, even as not a huge fan of the character Alan Wake, seeing him in this is incredible. It's one of the best DLCs, I think, by far. Yeah, I love it.
I'm glad you're loving it. I've played a little bit more Control. It's something I'm still like kind of chipping away at. Dude, this might be just one of the best PlayStation Plus months. Like, if you're a member, I don't know. There's no excuse. Because, like, honestly, this is the only way to play Control. Like, if you have a really high-end PC or a next-gen console, like, you have to try out this game. Because without the frame rate dips, without the weird bugginess of it being on PS4 and PS4 Pro, this thing really, truly takes advantage of the PS5 in ways that you kind of are looking for next gen to take advantage of titles. Like, this does feel, it almost feels like a different game because I'm not running into the chugginess. I'm able to kind of experience the smoothness of this game. So I'm really, really enjoying my time with Control. And I've been debating picking up Neo 2. Because Neo 1 didn't click with me. Okay. But like hearing Neo 2 is a little bit more Soulsborne-esque than Neo was, where it's way more masochistic. I'm kind of leaning in on, and knowing that there's some folks that I could co-op with, that gets me kind of excited for what Neo 2 could offer. But I ran into something right as I was about to go, you know what? I got $50 from a dear old Mima the other day.
Oh, Mima.
I was shoveling the snow. I was like, Mima, don't give me this money. And if you're Puerto Rican and you know Puerto Rican grandmas, they are they're intense. So you do what Mima wants. And so, like, Mima very graciously, I was like, okay, cool. I got this allowance. I felt like a 12-year-old boy again. And I was like, I think I'm just going to treat myself to a Neo 2. It's 100 gigs.
Ooh, boy.
It's a 100 gig download. Kyle, I'm running into the issue. We're not even 6 months in.
Let's get... What can we put in our PS5s to make the storage bigger?
Please.
Let us know. Even as a physical person, I want more space.
Yeah.
So when I'm putting in a disc, I don't have to play Tetris with game files.
It's
of, like,
really
I'll
choosing
delete-
like who your favorite son is, you know, or who your favorite kid is. It's like,
Yeah.
geez, and they're all weighing 100 gigs. So
Yeah, it's awful.
yeah, I had to spend Mima's money on Mario's 3D World instead. But Mima would love that. Mima would love a good Mario. So that said, let's get into squaring up the news. But before we do, here's our Patreon pitch. Gang, if something went awry in the video version, because I'm using new tech, it probably happens. But if it didn't and everything is running smoothly and according to plan, we look so much better now. Because of your generosity over at patreon.com, we have been able to afford new lighting, new camera equipment, new software that makes me look all types of beautiful looks, makes Kyle look all types of shiny and bright. Thank you all so freaking much. This is some of the, if not the biggest upgrade I think we've done to the show so far. And when I say it's only possible because of your generosity, whether you're a past supporter, present, future, it's all because of your generosity. So thank you all so much. I got very emotional when I opened up this camera, because we were able to get a Sony A6000. And apparently very awesome streaming camera, very awesome for YouTube videos and things like this. When I opened that up, I got so emotional because this is something that was always a pipe dream to me, Kyle. And it was a reality because of you guys and gals out there. So thank you all so freaking much. Again, if we ever got you through a long car ride, a long day at work, whatever your situation may be, it really does mean a lot. You toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. Get you some exclusive shows like The Road to Greatness, like our future MCU show, and our after show that we'll be talking about a little later. So with that said, Kyle, I'd like to thank our newest patron.
Before we get into the lovely patrons,
okay,
was the MCU show a thing only on the post show last week? Is that the first time they're hearing of this?
Yeah, it's the first time they're hearing of this.
There you go. MCU show is coming to patrons.
It's going to be wild, y'all. And with that, I'd like to thank our newest patron, Brent the Slayer Gillahan. I'd like to thank our platinum producers, Todd Burwitz and Too Soon. I'd like to thank our gold members, Chaotic Monkey, Gavin Godfrey, Griffin, West, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Ren. Our Silver Plus members, Hide Indoors, Marcus O'Neill. Oh, it's just Ray. JB the Purple Monkey, Jadus Fawn Metal, Tim Ulf, and Justin Rodriguez. Thank you all for making the show what it is. And again, it's thank you. Bottom of my heart. Now, it's time to get hyped. It's time to square up the news. Kyle, take it away, sir.
Take it
away now.
This comes from Leslie Goldberg over at Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter, this is a PlayStation show, Joe. What are we doing?
I know. Whoa. We're about to get Hollywood.
Last of Us Game of Thrones breakout Bella Ramsey to star as Ellie. Exclusive. Bella Ramsey, perhaps best known for her breakout role as the fierce Lyanna Mormont in HBO's Game of Thrones, is reuniting with the Cabler to star in The Last of Us, the company's adaptation of the hit video game. Craig Mazin, who created HBO's acclaimed limited series Chernobyl, is penning the script and executive producing with Neil Druckmann, the writer and creative director of the game. Russian filmmaker Kantemir Balagov, the Cannes darling behind 2019 drama Beanpole, has been tapped to direct the pilot. One person not involved with the show is former True Detective star Mahershala Ali, whom geek websites on Wednesday had pegged as having an offer. Ali did circle the role, say sources, but a deal never came to fruition.
Okay, so earlier today, we get this inside scoop from, I think it was called the Nerd Umalati or whatever.
Yeah, the Loom Nerdati or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy. That Mahershala Ali was going to be Joel from The Last of Us. And honestly, God, pat myself on the back, because Mahershala, I now understand how to pronounce his name, because I was very stressed out doing the show. The reason why I can't pronounce it well is because I'm thinking MH, like they're using the H twice, but it's only one H in the name. That's the thing that tossed me off. But that said, he's an amazing actor. Like, from True Detective, House of Cards, Moonlight, which, my God, that movie made me cry. Like, The Green Book, I believe. He's a fantastic actor, and I was super in on this. But my first thought when he's there is, it's the internet.
Yeah.
If we're upset about Abby's arms, he's not the first person you think of when you think of Joel. right?
Yeah.
So that being said, I want to know what your original thoughts were when Mahershala was rumored to get the role. And what are your thoughts on Lyanna Mormont from Game of Thrones taking up the reins of Ellie?
I'll start with Lyanna because I think that's a good fit.
Yeah.
I when she was on screen during her Game of Thrones run, every single time she was on, she commanded that screen. Yes. As a young actress amongst all these older veterans. She just crushed it with every line she delivered. The gravitas she already had on screen at such a young age is incredible. So I'm very excited to see her as Ellie. But when it comes to Mahershala Ali, I would 100% take him as Joel. Like,
right?
If you're going to complain that a black man was pegged or was offered to play the role of an old white guy, I don't know why you're upset. I think that's great. Joel is a character. He's not a real life human being. It's not a biopic. This is a character. This is another take on this story from a different perspective, or at least I think that's what they're planning from. Different point of view. So like, I am 100% down for Ali to play that role. Now, like, he obviously is not anymore, which is sad because, God, he's so freaking amazing at what he does, and I think he would have killed it. Like, can you imagine him being Joel and then being Blade in a couple of years on screen?
And that's the thing, dude. I was like, because like I love Mahershala's voice.
Yes,
like it's got that. When I was thinking, like, all right, kiddo, like I could hear him say it, and I got chills. Like this man is a will be going down as one of the best actors of this decade, right?
Absolutely.
Oscar winner and everything. So he's a fantastic actor.
My God, his role as Cottonmouth on Luke in the Luke Cage show.
Oh my God,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, fantastic for the time he was on that show. And like with that said, like Troy Baker doesn't look like Joel. Sounds like him, right? That's how I was just like, okay, fine. When it comes to Lyanna Mormont or Bella Ramsey.
He was Uncle Aaron in Spider-Verse. Like,
oh my God,
come on!
I mean, come on! I can't. That frame hasn't come in for your picture, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
No, it's not okay. Amazon keeps messing up these packages. I'm about to come down there.
Just wait till everyone sees it. It's dope.
Dude, it got me very emotional.
Yeah.
But like Bella makes total sense. Like as Lady Mormont, she owned it. I remember in season, I think 6 when she first came on screen, like we all fell in love with this girl because it was just like, holy crap, here's these mountain of men and this legit 7-year-old girl leading this town. And you're like, there's no 7-year-old girl. Are you kidding me? And she's a bigger badass than all those huge hulking dudes. Yep. And seeing her at the Battle of Winterfell, with the axes, doing a blood curdling scream. I'm like, I get why they picked her. I'm like, that she can do it. It's so yeah, she's relatively unknown. And this will be her biggest role yet, but honest goodness, no doubt there. And how she will literally grow into that role of Ellie. I'm very excited to see. That said as well, Mahershala, fantastic actor. So I don't care. As long as it's a great actor behind that, I'm totally fine. I feel like we oftentimes get the Joker effect, where we all kind of judged Heath before he entered that role, and then when he's in it, I mean, he redefines the role. So I never put the cart before the horse when it comes to casting, because what you said at the beginning of the show, Hollywood Reporter, we're not Hollywood. I don't know what good acting to me is. Just man, that MCU movie was dope. And with that, we've done a hard edit. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the breaking news version of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. And as you are listening to this, there have been breaking news as we were recording the Patreon show of The Trophy Room. And that is that the Mandalorian's own Pedro Pascal will be headlining The Last of Us show as Joel from The Last of Us. This comes from Deadline Hollywood. Holy shit, this is fucking real.
That's amazing. I was just scrolling on Twitter because we were doing the post show celebrating that Gina Carano got fired. And I saw Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny reply to Neil Druckmann with a "what?" in like all caps and exclamation point question marks. So I look at the main tweet, and Neil tweets, "And there's the other half. Stoked that Pedro aboard our show." Like, oh man, that's awesome.
Whoa.
That's incredible. Pedro is talented as all hell.
Oh my
That's great.
goodness.
That's fantastic.
So remember when we were talking about Mahershala, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Not giving anything away from this. Awesome. Pedro as well. We're getting 2 Game of Thrones actors in another HBO show. Pedro
Oberyn,
got his...
right? Was he Oberyn?
Oberyn, yeah, he was Oberyn. Yeah. The Red Viper, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. So not only is he the Mando, he's also going to be Joel.
Whoa.
Holy mother of God. Wow. So now, again, like the circle is now complete, right? We got a up-and-coming actress we hope is up-and-coming, right? Relative unknown. Now we have Pedro Pascal, the Mando himself. HBO. My goodness. This can't be real.
It's real. It is confirmed. Man. I don't know what to say. Like, am I still bummed it's not Mahershala? Absolutely I am, because I think that would have been awesome.
Oh, man, I'm getting kind of emotional. Joel's a Hispanic
Pedro's
like
great.
me now?
Yeah,
like,
right?
Is this what we're talking about? That's awesome, man. Holy shit.
I'm
Oh, that's what this
ecstatic.
feels like. That's what representation feels like. This is great. I love this. I was talking to Ainsley on Season Gaming, and I said, I love The Mandalorian because it's for the same reasons why I loved the Master Chief growing up as a kid, because all of a sudden, when I was a kid, I didn't have anybody that looked like me that was a superhero, so I had to kind of like live vicariously through, but like on an extra level to like, superheroes and whatnot. And for the first time, Master Chief had this helmet, and I can just kind of pretend I was under that helmet. And that's the reason why I love Mando. It's because he has that helmet, and I know that he is a Hispanic underneath that helmet, right? And, I know that there's a little kid out there like that I was, found his Star Wars character, just like Andor, in Rogue. So now seeing this is kind of like the extra level to me. It's like Joel is one of my favorite characters in video games. Love him. By God, look at me. I'm going to try to do his voice while I'm emotional. And he's being played as a Hispanic by a Latin
That's amazing.
dude.
That's amazing. I'm happy for you, Joe.
That's fucking cool. God, so that's what that feels like.
Please somebody go into Wikipedia or dictionary.com and take a clip of this Joe and put it under why representation matters. Because this is why this needs to be a thing. People need to be able to see themselves in these iconic roles and on the big screen and TV, no matter where it is. They need to be able to see themselves in those roles, and I'm about to cry for you, Joe. It's fucking awesome. It's incredible.
It's honestly a new feeling. I've never had this. I was like, am I getting emotional for the other topic that was on the post show and this? Probably. It's a whirlwind. Yeah. So
what a man! Yeah. What a awesome swing and balance when it comes to one show. I'm doing this, but
yeah.
You got the awesome news that Gina is gone, and then it goes even higher because Pedro is Joel.
Awesome.
Wow.
And also, guys, listen, I don't know how we're gonna segue into the show, but this week's show is really good.
Yeah,
and
it's
with
fantastic.
That, we're going back to the Patreon feeds, but back to your regular scheduling program. Whoa. That is the trophy room.
When are we seeing the show?
Oh, good question. Look at you, best co-host ever.
Is that next year? 2 years from now?
I'd like to say late next year. Because I don't think you need to, I think you could do this show in a COVID setting. me with no production knowledge whatsoever. Listen, as an owner of a PlayStation, but look at this production behind you. We got lights now. I don't think, you need a big, a big set for like a COVID-esque picture. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a lot of people in one setting, maybe in the beginning, but after that, it's kind of just almost like a play where it's like these two characters, they stumble into this setting and then they kind of go from there. What do you think?
That's fair.
2022, 2023?
I think late next year is probably a good bet. Like okay. I want to watch this movie during winter. Like or not movie, show. Like right. That setting of it being cold and dark in the world, I think mixes well with like wintertime. Just get under the blanket, hunker down, and just kind of like ride it out, kind of thing. So like, yeah. I think next wintertime is a good bet.
One more question for you: the reason why we have faith in this and less so in Uncharted as a film, is it just strictly because like it's HBO and we expect the quality out of HBO?
That and Neil is actively helping.
Okay.
I think having Neil have his hands on this project as in depth as he is, or at least as it seems to be, I think that is what's got me more hyped for this than the Uncharted flick. Like if the Uncharted movie is just like explosions, cool set pieces, I'll have a great time. But like I don't know, I still don't know how I feel about Marky Mark being Sully.
Exactly, that's the thing that like, because like Sully is like this, hey, cool, suave, not like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah,
there's explosions. We're in a temple. Let's fight.
Say hello to your idol for me. Yeah,
yeah. So that's I think the people that are behind the production of the HBO show versus Uncharted, I feel like you're right. Like having Neil there, having people that have written stories that are as desperate as The Last of Us, like you got people that know the role or at least the settings.
Yeah,
I feel like that's why we got more faith in that than Marky Marcus Sully. God damn it, is that really happening? We can't do anything. But
he already did the happening, Joe. He already yelled at plants.
Oh, God. Oh, the lawnmowers. It's the air. It's the trees. What's going on? Next topic,
my God.
Please. I'm reliving bad memories again.
If you've never seen The Happening, which I just watched it recently. I needed something stupid to watch, just whatever. Yeah. If you want to look up one of the worst acted pieces of film history, just search The Happening.
Oh, God.
Mark Wahlberg, old woman. And just watch that scene of them in the house. And it is awful. It is so bad. Oh, my God.
I'll take your word. I'll take your word for it.
It's so bad.
Next story on the list, sir.
Andy Robinson over at VGC writes, E3 pushes forward with plans for a digital 2021 event. The Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3, has historically been at the center of the games industry's calendar, with companies often saving their biggest announcements for the annual Los Angeles event. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, plans for a physical E3 in 2020 were canceled. When a proposed 2020 virtual show also failed to materialize, the ESA promised a, quote, reimagined, end quote, E3 would take place in June 2021. According to E3 2021 pitch documents sent to games publishers and seen by VGC, the ESA has now outlined its proposals for this year's event, which would see 3 days of live stream coverage held during the previously announced dates of June 15th through 17th. The ESA's intention is to hold multiple 2-hour keynote sessions from games partners, an awards show, a June 14th preview night, and other smaller streams from games publishers, influencers, and media partners. The broadcast event would be supplemented by media previews the week before, as well as demos released on consumer platforms according to the ESA's proposal. The ESA also says it will allow partner companies to remotely stream playable game demos to the media across thousands of scheduled meetings, with one-to-one assistance from developers. Many companies have used similar on-demand streaming solutions during the pandemic to allow the media to remotely play their games for preview purposes. However, the E3 2021 plans still require the approval of ESA's membership, which is made up of the industry's biggest games companies and who have significant influence over the direction of the show. The ESA was already facing significant pressure to reinvent E3, with several major publishers, including EA, Sony, and Activision, having abandoned the event in recent years. And that was before 2020's cancellation, after which many companies such as EA and Ubisoft enjoyed success running their own digital events. E3's longtime collaborator Geoff Keighley, who quit the show last year due to a disagreement over its direction, also launched the successful Summer Game Fest in 2020. Keighley confirmed to VGC over private message that the event would return this year and said he would again not be involved with E3. It's unclear how many publishers have signed up for E3 2021's digital event, though at least one major games company VGC spoke to indicated that it would continue to run its own separate digital showcase, rather than paying the six-figure sums required to join E3 2021's schedule.
Bravo, Kyle. Bravo. That was a big one.
The reason I giggled while I was reading early on is because you put your cursor on the sentence below and your name popped up and covered the words.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I like to read along.
It's fine.
I'm an old man like that. So Kyle, this is a lot of stuff right here. Geoff Keighley, he's doing his own thing still with the Summer Game Fest. And to note, he's gotten, when he announced it, a lot of people like, better not be a couple months. What's going on? Like, it better not drag. And he's stated it should only be, at this point, less than a month. So I'm thinking 3 weeks or less for Geoff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. That said, Jedi Master Ren writes in via Discord, like you can too, via our Discord channel, link in the description, or over at our Twitter at PS Trophy Room. When we ask for questions, you can send them in, get yours on the show read. And Jedi says this: E3 has been going downhill for years now, with multiple big names pulling away from the event. The panoramic, panoramic.
I think the panoramic picture, maybe?
Jedi, you got me. This is my dyslexia. Just seems to be the nail on the coffin for the show. With Geoff Keighley sliding into the ring with Summer Game Fest, what do y'all think the ESA needs to do to keep the conversation in their corner?
I love how that seems like Geoff Keighley is running in with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Right.
He's cashing it in! Back out!
That's what I was thinking. I was really thinking the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
You got Jeffrey Lawler in the back. He's calling the shots over here.
Did you just say Jeffrey Lawler?
Yeah, did I get him right?
No, that's his lawyer brother who practices bird law. No, Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler. Right. Don't look at Jerry's hands, but yeah, he's commentating. Yeah, my name's Geoff. So Kyle, is Jedi Master Ren onto something here? Like, what does E3 Digital 2021 need to look like? Because let's be real here. E3 didn't happen last year. The world, oh boy, let's knock on wood, didn't end, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we got the Summer Game Fest. It kind of meandered more than made some big splashes. Everybody tried to do their own little mini conference, all of which kind of seemed to, again, meander. And other than, I think, for PlayStation and Microsoft, none of them really seemed to hit. Mm-hmm. So, what does E3 need to look like? What do they need to do? And can they actually do it? Because, let's be real, who wants to pay a six-figure sum when they could do it themselves?
That is wild to me.
Yeah.
Wild. Six figures? My God.
I know.
That, now I don't blame Sony. Be like, listen, we'll do it ourselves. Yeah. I'm Thanos. I'll do it myself. You know what I mean? What are they? I think, honestly, I feel like this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I really dig their digital format here. Selfishly, it makes me think that we could be previewing games at E3 if it's digital at home. Listen, I'm just saying. I think it'd be easier to do it this way than to get badges in media, whatever.
Listen, Mr. E3, when the trophy room's a knocking, come stopping by, you know?
Yeah, so like I dig this format.
Okay.
I'm liking the 2-hour blocks for keynotes, so you gotta assume that's Microsoft.
Right.
You gotta assume Ubisoft.
Sure.
Don't know if EA will be back. Don't know if Sony will be back. Probably not. That other one, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm liking the direction this is going. But again, this all needs to be approved, though.
It all needs to be approved.
Yeah.
They need to still find people that want to come here. And that's the big, I think when you're even selling it, you're just like, yeah, maybe is this too little too late?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, even, like, look, if I'm Daddy PlayStation, right? I'm already doing my state of plays. I think we're fine. I think we have enough clout that we don't need this E3. If I'm Ubisoft, we have our Ubisoft Directs. And look, they haven't hit it out of the park, but people tune in, they watch, right? Yeah. If you're Microsoft, you have Xbox, you've just made so much news, you're buying the whole industry at this point. Mm-hmm. People are going to watch you. Nintendo can literally drop a trailer for a Wii U port from 6 years ago, and we're buying it. So, like, I don't think they can really do much. And I don't know... Like, they have this plan, but do they have the vision? Right? Like, Geoff Keighley, if I'm Geoff, the ball is, like, in my court. It's really all on me because, love him or hate him, Geoff has learned how to do these presentations. Look at the Game Awards, right? He's been able to do award shows and conference-like style shows. On the fly, digitally, in less than a year. We all talked about how, the Game Awards last year was a really put together show. So, like, if I'm the ESA, or not even the ESA, if I'm anybody who's actually interested in this time slot, if I'm Geoff Keighley, I'm just like, come over to where I am. I can advise you. I can show you the way. And I think that when Geoff's like, oh, it's not going to be a 4-month thing, it's going to be probably a 3-week thing. I think Geoff is kind of talking to partners going, listen, gamers were kind of zoning out. We need a pocket for this year where we can have a festival. It's a Festivus for the rest of us for gamers. Where it's like this week it's Ubisoft and Microsoft. Next week it's Sony and Warner Brothers. Like the next week afterwards it's like Nintendo and Sega. I don't know. And like, you're having a almost month-long celebration in enjoying these games, watching Treehouse Live events, right? Watching whatever state of play. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a way better plan of like, now you'll have all eyes on this 1 month. Everybody knows what to look forward to rather than having to plot down on their calendars, what days they need to take off. It's like, no, it's this moment in time. And I think that's a better sell than like the ESA going, we're going to have these demos that are on you. We're going to have these conferences that are on you. We have these ideas, but what really are they and who's really behind them? And if I'm someone like PlayStation, I'm kind of looking at that going, I'm more into Geoff's idea than anything else.
I will say as a viewer, though, this sounds to me like DC fandom. And I'd be totally okay with that kind of format. Yeah.
I would. I mean, I really like DC fandom.
I did too. I think the line in here where it's
like I'm not even a DC
multiple
dork.
2-hour multiple 2-hour keynote sessions. So those would be like your panels on the Batman and Suicide Squad and all that. An award show,
how awesome would it be if we had like a panel of like, hey, Astro's Playroom, the developers get to talk about.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like smaller streams from game publishers, like. Excuse me. Have the Team Asobi come on and talk about Astro and the future of Astro, or just have a roundtable discussion of like the voices behind the video game mascots. I think would be super dope. Like I want that kind of celebration of games back, and I think what Geoff is doing with Summer Game Fest is a step in the right direction, and ESA is scrambling to try to capture that magic back because it's like. Let's be real. You want E3 to watch those 2-hour long. Here's all the games coming out, cool stuff coming.
Yeah,
it's in some ways still a little bit too businessy. Sure. Like when like the studio heads come on and it's like, and we'll talk about it more later this year.
Yeah,
here's this cool branded DLC where like just show me the games, have fun with it. Like
I don't need The Rock on stage.
I don't.
You know?
Kyoto is cool. I don't
yeah.
don't need another Forza car out on stage. Right. Don't need it. I just show me the games. You know, talk a little bit about the games if they're brand new, and let us just celebrate games.
Yeah, I really dig that idea of just, again, having that little festival, like, where you're, like, having these little panels of, like, yeah, like, dude, like, how to make it as a voice actor or something like that. Like, having things that you can watch and people who are passionate about games or get to really absorb. I would dig that.
Or do, like, retrospectives on the phone. Like, retrospectives on these games from a decade ago.
Yeah. And then you could actually even have, like, honest to God conversations, like, let's just say the Elden Ring is this year, right? Mm-hmm. We're wheeling out J. Railroad Martin, right? Like George Railroad Martin. Saying the wrong first names to people. George Railroad Martin's brother Jay. We wheel him out there. He's talking about the Elden Ring. And what if it's just a panel of just like, and here's people's questions from, you know, a Twitter post that we put out. And like, that's way cooler than, like, here we're going to wheel George R.R. Martin out on stage. George, wave at everybody. All right, everybody say goodbye to George. And then that'd be done. This is actually a really cool idea.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I want the voices, like the mascot voices panel to be a thing. Just have the voice actor from Mario, the voice actor, or the man behind the Crash suit.
But I want him in still in the Crash suit.
And Sonic all sitting together and just chilling out and having a blast.
Yeah.
I think that'd be dope.
I dig it. I really, this is a great idea from us. But which Sonic voice actor? Ooh, that hurts. Yeah, no.
Not the movie.
Well, real talk. Before we,
nothing against Ben Schwartz, by the way. I love Ben.
Ben Schwartz, great. Did you see that Sonic 2 trailer? I know we're about to become
trailer or title thing.
Title thing.
With
it got the Emerald Zone music, dude, from Sonic 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fucking go. Let's go. We got. Oh
I'm not a huge Sonic fan. I'm sorry.
I mean, up until Sonic 2, that's where Joe leaves because Joe didn't get a Saturn. But like Sega 2, Sonic and Knuckles, I remember vivid memories of my brother doing the Tower of Terror where you put this. I believe you put the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge in the Sega Genesis, and then you put Sonic 2 on top of that cartridge, and you get to play as Knuckles and like, I think like 1 or 2 extra levels. It's like the first DLC pack.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Awesome. That being said, Kyle, you know what's... I'm going to get even more hyped with this next story that we have on.
Here we go. Rebecca Smith over at PS Lifestyle writes, Kadokawa Corporation forms alliance with Sony and CyberAgent, plans to enhance IP development. That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yep.
CyberAgent. Kadokawa Corporation has formed an alliance with Sony and CyberAgent. As translated by Gimatsu, the company revealed in their financial results that they've formed the alliance to, quote, enhance IP development, end quote, and expand their IPs across the globe. The agreement means the three companies will pool their expertise and resources for each other's mutual benefit. Kadokawa Corporation will create more strong IPs, quote, composed of a diverse portfolio, end quote. Sony will use their publishing muscle to increase the spread of games and animation across the world. Finally, CyberAgent will take care of the mobile market. Both CyberAgent and Sony now have 1,422,475 shares in Kadokawa as part of the agreement, each gaining a 1.93% stake in the company. Kadokawa aims to use their existing IPs to maximum effect. Kadokawa Games, another subsidiary company, has their own range of IPs like the Root Letter visual novels and turn-based RPGs Metal Max Xeno, Demon Gaze, and God Wars. These would all benefit from increasing their global market, especially since Sony bought anime streaming service Crunchyroll and gives Kadokawa's animations a far bigger audience than it likely already has. Of course, one of Kadokawa's current subsidiary companies is From Software, best known for Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This won't necessarily mean more PlayStation exclusive titles, though, especially as the upcoming Elden Ring will be multi-platform and published by Bandai Namco. However, Sony owns the Bloodborne and Demon's Souls IPs. Bandai Namco owns Dark Souls and Activision owns Sekiro. It may pave the way for a future acquisition by Kadokawa.
So, a correction to this article. No, From Software doesn't own Bloodborne or Demon Souls. That's owned by Sony. But a lot, and how the fan base really is like, they went up to Demon Soul or From Software. They went up to Miyazaki and they were just like, "Do we have your blessing to do this?" And he was just like, "I don't know if you really can, but go for it." So, this whole news, Kyle, you read a whole lot of things. I said
Kadokawa a lot.
a lot. And also, like, so much so that, like, I kind of started thinking Kadokawa does, like, the Kadokawa Corporation does seem like an evil corporation.
Yeah. It's like the Foot in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly. You've messed with the Kadokawa Corporation for too long, Jack Bauer, like something like that. And then, like, Cyber Agent, like, dude, Cyber Agent again. What a name. Does this mean, Kyle? Does this mean, you know what? I'm not going to ask the question. Awesome Dave 1337 writes in, like you can't do via PS Trophy on Twitter. Now that Sony has put money into the owner of From Software, do you think this is promising for us to get a Bloodborne 2? Obviously, it's a small percentage, like 2%, but do you think this will give Sony the leverage they need to ensure we get a sequel of the best game of all time? I swear to God I didn't write that in.
No, you didn't.
Awesome Dave 1337 did. And when you put 1337 in a calculator, what do you get? Leet.
Okay, Dad.
I'm just telling you, Sonny, when I was around, calculator and phone were two different things. Kyle, are we getting Bloodborne 2?
Here's the thing, Joe.
Did any of what you read right there
I think there's a better chance than ever for Bloodborne 2. I really do.
Is it because of this 2% stake at Kadokawa?
Partially, but I also think Sony's listening. I think Sony knows about the fan base wanting a new Bloodborne game. But here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think we need a Bloodborne 2.
Shut up.
I think Bloodborne is the type of game that is fine on its own.
Your mouth. Oh, so disgusting. So I expect this from, the host of XEP, Luke Laurie, who's an awful human being, but not from my own co-host. Why don't we? Of course, we need Bloodborne 2.
Do we though?
Yes.
Why?
I want to fight more of those bosses.
Okay, you can fight any more of those kind of bosses than any other From Software game.
Okay, Dad. Okay, I get it. McDonald's was the exit behind us. And
it's like you're asking for Oreos at the store, and I grabbed the off-brand Oreos. Like, listen, see? We have the same thing at home.
Hydrox is the original Oreo. This is not the off-brand. Oreo's the off-brand. No. Okay, so I'll break it down here. This corporate alliance, this is what happens. I'm going to teach people because YouTube creators, they've been creating a farce. I'm not a business person, didn't get a business degree, but I did have Google and I looked it up. I did a little research before I overhyped myself. So pretty much corporate alliances, or capital alliances rather, are when two corporations or two smaller businesses say, hey, you have this thing I want, I have this thing you want. Let's make a partnership together so that we make this one big thing. And, it's kind of like a shake hands, a wink and a nod. So Sony has Funimation, they have Crunchyroll. Both of those companies are streaming services for anime. Kadokawa is a, anime studio first. Like, they own a lot of anime properties. Like, we named off things that I'll never see in my life. So, yeah, it makes sense for Sony for their streaming services because they see Netflix coming out with a whole bunch of different animes trying to take up that market. Like, we just saw one for, it's Kaiju, Pacific Rim anime coming out in March, and I'm actually really interested in that. So, like, they're trying to get.
They have a
Cyberpunk
audiences. One, right? Next year,
yeah.
I think the Cyberpunk one?
Cyberpunk one. Let's see how that one comes out. So, like, I'm sorry for the little jab. I couldn't help myself. Sometimes it's right there in front of you. But, like, that's what Sony's... They bought these two streaming services. They want to make sure these things are profitable. So they're going to invest in them. doesn't really mean anything in terms of From Software when it comes to Bloodborne. If Sony wanted to make a Bloodborne 2 right now, they'd do it. They don't need From Software, but they need From Software in the sense that no one's going to have faith in that game if Miyazaki has not even any type of role in it. Doesn't have his blessing. So, like, as a Bloodborne fan, you know that Miyazaki, From Software, Bloodborne is their baby. This is the game that's like his child. Like, they think they got something really special here. So you know they want to make it. And they've even said it's all up to Sony. So now it is all up to Sony. And if I have a 2% stake, you kind of get to maybe see what their portfolios look like in terms of From. Like, we know they have 3 or 4 studios at From Software. One of them's producing Elden Ring. One of them just got done with Sekiro. What's this third mystery game? And when you're taking a look at, From Software's plans a few years back, they said a mystery PlayStation IP and a VR game. So we got the VR game that was Deracine. What is this mystery PlayStation game? If I'm also Miyazaki, hold my hand here, I'm about to take you on a trip. We also know, not to say like a little birdie told me in my ear, but the echoes are that, or the whispers are that Elden Ring's in its polishing phase. It's going to come out in this holiday. So knowing that they're probably at the point of, post-production, if this was a movie, because now we're a film podcast, you're probably on to the next project. And I think that next project is either Sekiro 2, depending on their deal with Activision, or it's a Bloodborne 2. That's been my fucking TED Talk. Drop the mic. You don't do any one of this.
I think the other thing that I think you're forgetting about is Armored Core, man.
Kyle,
I feel like they can bring it back at like that.
Kyle, listen, I'm not here to
It's been 7 years since the last Armored Core.
And they can wait 7 more. I need Bloodborne, okay? They can wait. Daddy needs this. Here's the thing.
Daddy needs his juice.
Exactly, and that is Bloodborne. Rigo writes in, I have never beaten Bloodborne to this day. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you. Do you have any tips you could give me because I am way too late to the party? Keep trying. Perseverance. Patience.
Again, you sound like my dad again.
Exactly.
We're just trading off being dads to each other.
You need drive.
Do it again.
Do it again, but better.
Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it again.
I'm not gonna tell you I love you till you do it right, and even then,
it's like the God of War reveal trailer.
Yeah,
it's like your deer, go.
Yeah, deer, hunt it, boy. So like, for your tip for beating Bloodborne, really look up some YouTube tutorials, look at what weapon you fancy, and just go with it. Just try it out. It's not for everybody, but it's for the most elite, Rigo.
Don't listen to him, Rigo. I honestly try it out.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm the furthest I've ever been in Bloodborne. I forgot where I stopped, but it's way further than the opening area. Like, I beat Father Gascoigne, which is nuts.
Yeah. Bragging rights right there.
The game is pretty damn great. Mm-hmm. It's phenomenal.
It's a masterclass of level design and combat, I'll say that. That is a fanboy perspective. That's the only fanboy thing I've said all night, to be honest.
Yeah, it's bar none one of the best PlayStation games ever.
Yep.
But also,
and that's why it's
a
coming,
game
Kyle.
Yeah, but
it's so deep within the culture of PlayStation.
I feel like we're having the same conversation of where we were about the Last of Us Part 1. Like, that could have totally been by itself and been totally fine on its own. We didn't need a Part 2. We didn't need a Part 2 of Last of Us.
We didn't.
I don't think we need a Bloodborne 2. I don't think we do.
But you did, and isn't that your game of the year? Isn't that the trophy room game of the year?
Listen, absolutely it is. Okay. But, like, I don't know.
I get it. The game, like, how can it top itself?
Yes,
Let
exactly.
Miyazaki try.
There's only disappointment to go, I think, from your standpoint.
Unless a golf club is a weapon in Bloodborne 2, I don't think this game could ever disappoint. All right, depending on how large the arms are in Bloodborne 2, you can't disappoint me, all right? No, I definitely think there's room for this universe to grow. I think it's a cult following within PlayStation. You know, it's deep within its own marketing. When you're taking a look at PlayStation's front page of their gear store, it's right alongside Last of Us, God of War, and all that. Like, this game has legs. This series has a following. If Demon's Souls, which had a very small following at the time, could be the launch title to the PS5, yeah, I think, you know, it's very realistic that Bloodborne 2 is in development, and it is, or could be in development, or could come out there eventually.
That's fair. Do we get it as Bloodborne 2, or is it like Blood Death?
Oh, it's Bloodborne 2. It's Bloodborne 2.
I like Blood Death.
Here's the ultimate pie in the sky, Kyle. All right, I'm saying it right here. You're going to see some former trailer this year.
Woo-wee!
Whether it's just a title screen, maybe you see a saw cleaver. I'm saying it. Hold out faith, everyone. Hold out faith.
Do you remember Game Awards a couple years ago when that Sekiro thing first showed up? It's like, it's Bloodborne 2. It's Bloodborne 2.
And that was disappointed. They know. They know we want this. They can't.
What? Okay. All right. Well, let's go with the show. If you were to pick, kind of in the same vein as that Sekiro reveal at the Game Awards, where it's just what I believe is the grappling hook from the game, the guy's arm.
Yes.
If there was one image from the Bloodborne universe to pop up on screen, to have that kind of same effect with like a little bit of VO or something, what would you pick?
Beginning intro of Bloodborne. So the weird, like, horror-esque operatic thing of like, oh, and it's just like Sony, Studios, and then it's From Software presents, and then it's just Saw Cleaver, Bloodborne 2.
I would have a black screen.
That gets me very aroused just thinking. I gave myself goosebumps, Kyle.
I would have a black screen.
Okay.
With some like creepy gothic music, not exactly the same as the first game. Right. You hear the saw cleaver go into trick mode, right? Am I getting the terms correctly?
Yeah, you got it.
And then you hear somebody say a line of dialogue from the game. I don't know anything, and then you see a light up, a lamp, and that's all you get. You get From Software, and that's it. No title, no nothing, just the lamp lighting up, and you know what it is.
It's like you know what it is. Okay.
You know what it is, but like I could see that being the route that they go, which would be dope. That'd be so cool.
Kyle, you don't get to hype me like this. All right, get me. We've been on cloud 9 for a while now. Now it's time for me to burst your bubble, you son of a gun. Let's get to the final topic of the night. Main topic of the night.
Jordan Alleman over at IGN writes, Microsoft creating new company, Vault, to complete ZeniMax and Bethesda deal. Legal documents indicate that Microsoft intends to create a new wholly owned subsidiary called Vault to complete its ZeniMax media acquisition deal. It's not clear if ZeniMax will be known as Vault after the deal closes. The European Union is currently deciding whether to approve the $7.5 billion acquisition that was revealed back in September 2020. Documents seen on the European Union law website EUR Lex referred to the logistics of the acquisition, mentioning a, quote, merger pursuant to which a newly created Microsoft subsidiary, Vault, will be merged with and into ZeniMax, end quote. While it's not clear exactly how this will work, the Vault subsidiary would be a good way to house Microsoft's new acquisitions under one quasi-independent banner, affording ZeniMax's studios, which includes Bethesda, Arcane, Machine Games, and more, a level of freedom while still being owned by Microsoft. The text explicitly says that Microsoft will acquire, quote, sole control of the whole of ZeniMax, end quote, regardless, but the document suggests they will be accompanying this via the Vault subsidiary. It's a different approach to Microsoft's previous acquisitions, such as Obsidian, Ninja Theory, and Double Fine, which were formerly made a part of Microsoft and housed under its Xbox Game Studios brand. Whether ZeniMax's studios become part become known as part of Vault or not, the move to create a Microsoft subsidiary to complete the merger seems to mark a level of independence compared to other acquired companies. This tallies with previous reporting about Bethesda's semi-independence under Microsoft. Phil Spencer told CNET in September that, quote, "They're not about becoming us," end quote, in reference to the deal. Bethesda SVP of Global Marketing Pete Hines backed this up, saying in a statement that, quote, "We're still working on the same games we were yesterday, made by the same studios we've worked with for years, and those games will be published by us," end quote, around the same time.
Kyle, this is... We're about to become lawyers over here, okay? This is great. This is big time for us. What do you think this means?
How so is this big time?
Okay, so the one thing that they said here, right? It's a different approach to Microsoft's previous acquisitions. Mm-hmm. Obsidian, Ninja Theory, Double Fine, which were made part of Microsoft and housed under the Xbox Game Studios brand, right? End quote. So they became under the subsidiary of Xbox, right? Xbox is a subsidiary of Microsoft. That's how corporations work. Corporation is one giant, think of it as a giant spider. The legs are different bodies. They're all walking, and it's kind of like a hive mind. The big corporation wants to know what these smaller companies are up to, but it's kind of laissez-faire. These companies, because they're a corporation, they get to ask each other things. They get to partner with each other, use each other's technology without much interference, right? So, ZeniMax comes in, right? ZeniMax. They're now going to be part of Vault subsidiary. So it looks like, again, I'm just a small town country lawyer, but I do declare it sounds like they're getting rid of ZeniMax just publishing, or the ZeniMax Media company, parent company, and replacing it with Vault subsidiary. So it looks like Vault is going to be their parent company, and Bethesda, id, Arcane, those companies will be working under Vault. It seems like, if I'm a betting man, which I've known to bet a few times here or there and lose every single one, it does give me the illusion, or make an argument for, Microsoft's going to have some tangential relationships with Bethesda, but it doesn't seem like every single Bethesda game from here on out is an Xbox exclusive. Or am I getting too ahead of myself, Kyle? Am I full of shit?
You're not. You're not getting ahead of yourself at all.
Am I giving you hope,
you may be full of shit, but you're not getting ahead of yourself. I'm hopeful. Okay. I am hopeful that this means that games similar to Mojang, where we still got Minecraft on PlayStation, I'm hopeful. However, I just feel like this is a way for them to just kind of merge the games into game studios anyway, down the line. Like, I feel like this just makes it easy from an acquisition standpoint. Mm-hmm. And then, who's not to say further down the line, they bring in a Machine Games as part of just game studios. Or bring in these separate little teams and just make them exclusive to Xbox.
So, and it goes with what Philly Phil and I think Pete Hines were talking about. I wanted to get his first name right. It couldn't be. I couldn't do it for a third time. Where, when they were talking about the Bethesda acquisition, they talked about Bethesda Publishing as a partner. We're partners. And that's what made things always perked up the old brow of like, what do you mean partners? Like, what does it mean if they're not becoming us in reference to the deal? Like, that is very interesting to me. This actually gave me a lot more hope of, actually, I don't think every Bethesda game is going to be an Xbox exclusive, and maybe that's just Indiana Jones, right? Or maybe that is just Elder Scrolls or Fallout. But this kind of actually gives me a little bit of hope of like, as a PlayStation gamer, of like, oh, maybe this is just them kind of broadening out Game Pass more so of like, I mean, like, what's the bigger deal? Because like, honest to goodness, Kyle, the one thing that always tempts me every week, every time there's a sale, is seeing if The Outer Worlds is on sale on PlayStation. It's always $59.99. And I look at my Xbox Series X going, but it's $15 over here.
And isn't it still on Game Pass?
It's still on Game. It'll always be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the incentive? What's the true carrot on the stick? If I could make a little money on this PlayStation, and cool, but what if I can entice some PlayStation users? Go, yeah, you could pay $15 or $69.99 for this game, or you could pay $14.99 for it. Look at this carrot. Look at this stick. It's nice.
I'm 100% with you. I get that logic.
I got you.
Just I refuse to believe it. I want to be happily surprised and giddy when Wolfenstein 3 I'll be able to play on my PlayStation. Right. But until that moment, I'm gonna run under the cloud of goodbye Bethesda games on PlayStation. Goodbye Bethesda trophies. It's not happening.
It seems like you're taking the breakup really well. And here I was when I wanted to put this news on the show.
I mean, what hurts is Starfield.
Play with your heartstrings. Really?
Starfield is the one that hurts because I don't vibe with Elder Scrolls a whole lot. Like Skyrim is not my jam. That huge fantasy RPG world is not my thing when it comes to Bethesda. Oh, what happened?
Yeah, your PlayStation started.
All right, I'll just turn that off for now.
We're finding a flaw in this new setup. Yeah.
So that's not my jam. But give me a space RPG, a la Mass Effect, made by Bethesda Game Studios. That has me super excited.
Yeah.
So
You'd buy an Xbox for that? You'd betray us all? Is what you're telling me for Starfield?
Down the line, I will get a Series X. I'm not chomping at the bit. When Halo comes out, probably, but...
Master Chief's got a fucking hook for a hand. Bam. Elevator pitch. That's how I would sell it. That's my elevator pitch. Like, so Joe, what's your new idea for this new Halo? He's got a hook for a hand. He shoots it, he grapples on the stuff.
Oh, so Sekiro Halo edition.
Yeah, but it's like a hook for a hand.
And he's scared of this crocodile that took his hand way back when.
Yeah, now he has an eye patch in front of his visor. Why do you have a Brooklyn accent? And it's terrible, by the way.
Now I want a Halo Peter Pan game where Master Chief is Captain
Peter
Hook
and Cortana is Tinkerbell.
Smee? Oh, I'm thinking the other way around of them being the bad guys of Captain Hook and Cortana is Smee.
Oh no, you gotta make them the good guys. Kyle, listen, okay. I thought I would get you here. I thought you'd be hopeful. I thought I was gonna come in and then crush your dreams. But it looks like we're on different sides of the... Okay.
Yeah, level-headed.
Listen, I lied to you when I said that was the final bit of news because we got Speculation Town. This one, I literally put this last main topic literally just for you. So
I love Speculation Time. Liam Croft over at Push Square writes, potential Final Fantasy VII Remake DLC trademark expands to the U.S. Off the back of a number of trademark listings from Square Enix that went public last month relating to Final Fantasy VII Remake, the Ever Crisis term has now been expanded to also cover the U.S. It was filed 6 days ago and now means the trademark covers Japan, Europe, Canada, and Australia, as well as America. There's no word on the other recent trademarks coming out of Square Enix, the First Soldier and the Shinra logo, at the time of writing. Either way, there's a chance that Final Fantasy VII Remake news will be shared this weekend as part of a digital concert in Japan. The game's co-director Motomu Toriyama has teased a special program relating to last year's remake. Quote, there will be a few things related to Final Fantasy VII Remake that will be revealed only at this concert, end quote. However, this translation has been disputed since publication by Gematsu. The event takes place on February 13th.
So, Kyle, you got three options here. Are they going to, at this concert, go, here's the PS5 edition or version, and it's a free upgrade? Are they going to do that? Are they going to announce the Xbox version of this game? Or are they going to announce something so stupid that it shouldn't have even been worth mentioning at this concert?
Which candy bars get DLC this time?
Exactly.
I think a little bit of both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think along with the news of PS5 edition, which has to happen.
Yeah.
It has to happen. I think it'll also come along with the news that it's finally has a date for Xbox. Okay. I think those two goes hand to hand. Although, like, I don't put any faith in any of these concert announcements. I really don't. Like, they can range from so many different things. It's odd. And I think the last concert they did before the E3 where they showed off the trailer, they showed the trailer early at that concert, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think that was really the only reason to go, because that concert was pretty much just like the music coming from a computer. It wasn't a live orchestra or anything. It was just all
very weird
MP3s being played or whatever it was.
It's like my cousin's bar mitzvah. That's what you're telling me.
Same thing with like the Kingdom Hearts too. They announce things like the Kingdom Hearts concerts all the time.
Okay. Well, I thought I was gonna get more life out of you there. Yeah, I keep letting myself down, I guess.
What do you want me to say? Oh, Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 is going to be announced there?
Yes.
I will say, if they do any DLC...
We need sensationalism, Kyle. That's what gets the clicks, okay? You make outrageous claims. You don't need to stick to them. You just need to say them.
If it's gigantic, right? If it's more than just PS5s coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
We've partnered with Kit Kats for DLC materia.
Right. Shit, I'd buy that.
I would 100% buy that.
You tell me you put a Shinra logo on a PC? Yeah.
If there is a DLC,
okay,
it's got to be with Zach. It has to be
Zac
from
Efron.
No, Zach is. I don't want to. Oh man, I don't want to spoil too much. Zach's a big deal. Zach showed up at the end of at the end of Remake. Black hair.
Okay.
Also had a Buster Sword. I feel like it has to do with him. I know, whatever. I'm sorry, y'all. It's real hard to talk about the ending of Remake because it's crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it has to do with him.
I'll take your word for it. Pregnant pause.
Sorry if I spoiled it for anybody.
Honestly, you didn't, because that ending is wild. Like, oof. With that said, Kyle, did you know that it's Black History Month this month, February?
I did.
So what we wanted to do is a little different on the show. I feel like February rolls around, every other podcast, every other media group is just like, hey, look at this Black creator, this Black talent out there. We want to spotlight it. And then I feel like after this month, everybody then kind of forgets. We haven't forgotten. I think in 2020 leading up to 2021, we've done a really great job of bringing in diverse voices, diverse folks into this show. I can't remember the last time we had a white dude on the show, to be honest. Breath of fresh air as a Hispanic myself. So to me, I feel like we've done a really great job. I feel like there's other ways we could spotlight things and make good. And so here's what we're going to try to do this month. We want to do each and every week spotlight a different charity for people of color. The first one being the Black Girls Code. So Black Girls Code, this is their mission statement right here: to introduce programming and technology to new generations of coders, coders who will become builders of technology innovation and of their own futures. Imagine the impact of these curious, creative minds could have on the world with guidance and encouragement from others that take it for granted. I have, and I can't wait. And pretty much what Black Girls Codes does is it offers programs to get girls to learn how to program in STEM fields or in technology fields, scientific fields, so that they can become the leaders of tomorrow. And as crazy or as, branding as that sounds awesome to us. We need more people of color in industries like this, especially Black women. And honestly, I've been part of programs like this. I remember as a kid, Wee Little Tot, they taught me how to program a level in a game. And I found out awesome. I was not good at it. So it's really awesome to see that they're really kind of giving kids the passion, if they have it, to hone it and to make something of it. And that's awesome for us. And so link down below in the description if you'd like to support them, donate to the cause, or just learn more. So again, link down below in the description of the podcast. With that, Kyle, let's get into some Flash news.
Yeah, a little bit about MLB The Show 21. The tech test signups are live. You can sign up over at MLB the.show. MLB.show/tech test. That's MLB.show/tech test by Monday, February 15th by 10 a.m. Pacific time. The test will take place from February 23rd to March 1st. You can test it on your PS4. I believe they have a PS4, PS5, and they also have Xbox versions for tech tests if you want to try it out over there. The modes that you can play are Diamond Dynasty versus the computer, Diamond Dynasty Events, Diamond Dynasty Casual, Diamond Dynasty Play with Friends, and the Battle Royale mode.
Called Diamond Dogs. It's a Metal Gear Solid crossover.
And in other MLB The Show news, it seems that building a ballpark is a mode that is coming in this game, which is awesome. That is cool. Super cool. I'm happy that we're finally getting more news about MLB The Show. I'm happy that it's relatively soon. It's in April, so 2 months away. I love the show so much. I'm so ready for baseball to be back, Joe.
Yeah.
Most of my viewing on my PlayStation and on YouTube are baseball clips. Last 2 days, like every ejection, every argument between umpires and managers, I just like to watch those. And like, yes, baseball's coming back. Yeah.
And you get to like mouth what they're saying to each other.
Yeah,
maybe make them have funny voices.
Well, I read lips. It's something I do. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, okay.
It's a way
right now.
Baseball is dumb.
You got it. Yes. Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, it's a thing. When I was little, I couldn't hear, so I relied on looking at people's mouths and stuff.
That's awesome. Okay.
So that's something I do on YouTube, but that's aside. Tech test. Sign up by February 15th if you want to take part. It's roughly a week or so of playing the new show, which is
if
awesome.
I got to make my own, thank you for asking me what my studio would be, or stadium would be. It'd be a mixture of 3 stadiums, okay?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
You got Fenway Park out there with the Green Monster, but mixed with Giant Stadium in San Fran, and then the old Shea Stadium with the
wall of seats. Oh, okay, that's still a thing. That's still a thing.
It's still okay. And you'd be like, "Where's the Fenway Park Green Monster? Where is it?" It would appear out of the ocean. Yeah, because I remember back in the 90s watching it with my uncle. There'd be people with their like yachts or whatever, like just sitting from their ships or whatever. I want it to emerge like Godzilla, and then on like periodically, the big giant apple would come and they would clash. I just want a kaiju fight to happen.
I don't think it'll be that in depth, but
okay.
You can make every outfield wall the Green Monster if you want to be sadistic and have no home runs being hit. Sure.
Just emerge out of the ground. That's all I really want.
If they hit a specific spot in the field, the Green Monster comes up.
Bam. Yep. That's what I want. Every foul ball.
This other last piece of Flash news I saw really not that long ago, so I added it. Last week on February 3rd, Far Cry 6 was delayed. It was set to release on February 18th, which is next week, for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and Google Stadia, but has been delayed. Ubisoft made the announcement during its financial earnings report and stated that the game will arrive after April 2021, but no later than March 2022. So I knew there was a game that I've been missing. I feel like there's something supposed to be around this time that I'm excited for, and it was Far Cry, and yeah, it's delayed.
There you go. It looks like indefinitely, or at least till next year. Bummer, but kind of expected. I kind of think they're holding on to this, seeing if they could put it out in the holiday. I think a lot of people also got to realize this year's going to be slim pickings for games. It really does seem like that. We've gotten the COVID effect is hitting us really hard right now. So
sure.
Yeah. With that, Kyle, it's time for the Sony Pony Express.
Yeah.
Now you guys know that last week we killed off our old segment. We introduced the Sony Pony Express, and pretty much what it is, it's a series of tubes. Okay, where you can send your questions in.
I forgot about the tube lore.
Oh, yeah. There's tube lore. It's deep. It's underground, underwater, but appears from time to time. So it's a series of tubes. You can send your questions in via the PS Trophy Room over on Twitter. You can send your questions into the Discord server. You can even send your questions in via Patreon if you're a patron, like our good friend Ian Riley did, and they asked this question. Open world games seem to be getting larger and larger. The largest in my mind are the newest additions to Assassin's Creed lineup. Odyssey, Valhalla's maps are massive, but can almost be daunting to trek through. Ghost of Tsushima was pretty large of a map as well, but not nearly as overwhelming as any of the recent Ubisoft maps. When I think of my ideal map, I think of Skirrit Drop the Base, which is Skyrim, that's how I say it, where it was large but small enough that I knew where everything was just by viewing my surroundings, and not really needing to pull up the map. My question is, what is your ideal open world? So big that you can never really see everything, or big enough to incentivize explorations, but small enough to memorize the map in the world? Good question. Great
Excellent question.
I love Skirrit's map. It's a great map. I see what Ian says. I agree with it as well. Is like a good open world map, you kind of like, if you love it so much, you kind of know. You're like, oh, here's this biome. I know where this is. I know where that is. I love that feeling. I think Skyrim has one of the best maps ever. But for you, Kyle, what has one of the best open world maps?
Oh, man, that's tough. Like, Ghost is great. Ghost is a great pick. And I'm with you, Ian. I think the reason why I haven't gone back to Valhalla is because of how heavy it feels of stuff to do and how big that map is. It definitely does feel daunting when it comes to those. Yeah, I think absolutely. One of my favorites actually might be Horizon. Horizon's got a pretty awesome open world. It's kind of big, but there's tons of stuff to do along the way. There are a ton of cool robot battles to be had. That is what I'm looking forward to with 2. I want more of that. I want more of those kind of underground chambers and like dungeon type things that were in the first game. I think Horizon hits it pretty damn close. I think another really good one in a genre that doesn't have a whole lot of them, now that I'm thinking of it, Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3's open world is really, really freaking good.
Okay. So I think for me, there's 3 type of open worlds. One where it's like the Cheers moment of everybody knows your name. And that for me is Red Dead. Red Dead's map is huge, but I've played so much of it, and especially in online, where I know where I'm going. I don't need to open a map. And it gives you this, like, the thing that I love is when you're settling in a world. Not when the world seems like like it's been here for a while. It's like, oh, things have just happened. Or you know, like I love Westerns because of that. So for me, I love when like it's just a whole lot of wilderness and then you stumble into a town. That's always my favorite thing. I know this sounds very corny, very cheesy, and I say it on every show, but like World of Warcraft, that world is, I know where everything is in, you know, Elwyn Forest. I know Stranglehorn Valley, like Thorn Valley. Like, I know where the quest lines are going. I know where those things are, and it feels familiar, but the world feels so lived in. It just feels so good. Gotta go with Ghost of Tsushima right now because it's so fresh in my head, but I really think they did the Breath of the Wild treatment to the world, and I just feel like they did it better. And I know we're a PlayStation podcast, not fanboyish, but Breath of the Wild had a great open world. That's really all it really had to it. I love that they blended that open world with the Far Cries of like, go raid that bandit village, go do this small side quest here. Gave me more structure to what Breath of the Wild had. And then Witcher 3. Witcher 3, talk about a world that feels lived in. Like, every area feels like, oh shit, there was a fight here not too long ago. It's a swamp of dead bodies. So like, here's this big sprawling city that really does feel medieval.
Sure. I think the Witcher 3 to me falls in that Assassin's Creed, like, oh my god, this world is huge. There's so much to do. So that's another daunting one. Another shout out I want to give, not really, the full game's not open world, but shout out to the worlds of PlayStation 1 RPGs. Like when you're out in the open world, like I know where every town is, I know where all the secrets are, I know where to farm XP. Those are like half of my brain is like PlayStation 1 JRPGs. Maps.
Also, shout out to the best Grand Theft Auto, which was San Andreas.
Oh, hell yes.
That map seems huge. I can only imagine going back and going, this is so tiny. But like,
I tried to replay Vice City not that long ago, and like, God, I thought as a kid this game's huge.
It's just a strip mall.
It's real tiny.
Yeah. Catalyst writes in, and I love how, first off, I love that this segment's name, people are loving it, and people are going along with it. So Catalyst writes in with this, all right, Pony, I need you to give this letter to the Paul Revere treatment and haul this to Kyle and Joe as quickly as possible. To the most beautiful podcasters on the planet Earth, we, your loyal listeners, have heard the new system of mail and hope this letter has gotten to you safely without harm. I, Catalyst 313, have subscribed to PS Now for the first time in hopes to get past my gaming fatigue. I've become bored with games, and I have hope that this streaming services fixes this. If it doesn't, do you have any tips to find your love of gaming after an extended period of becoming bored with video games? It's a good question.
It's a great question. I struggle with this. My brother called in and he
very much distracted me. My phone was vibrating and all that, so if you saw me struggling video, you know what's up.
I'm with you, Catalyst. I go through gaming fatigues quite often. All the time. Where I don't want to play a game. I just want to do other things. And to get out of that, I know that you want to find something new, but sometimes I just go back to something old and just kind of like... There's a reason why I've beaten Borderlands 2 so many times. There's a reason why I keep going back to Fall Guys every once in a while to just kind of hop in for a little bit. And it kind of kickstarts my love of gaming into, like, right now I played Control. Like, I'm itching. I platinum it. I'm itching to beat the other DLC. I'm ready to go into something new and play more games that way. So those are my tips for how to get out of it. But, like, PS Now, there's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah.
Go play Arkham Origins. Batman, please. Someone else play that game.
There you go.
Or Resistance 3. Do it.
All right. It's on. For me, I don't know. I had a brain fart there. What I want to say. For me, when I have like gaming like fatigue, I guess it happens. Like I just went through after Hitman 3. I'm like, I think I've done all I needed to do. I'm gonna try to platinum it, but what I'm really waiting for is for Hitman 2 to get back on sale because I ain't paying full price, and then I'll be back in it. But sometimes I just don't feel it, so I don't do it. You know, this week was pretty light because I was setting up stuff. I was learning things, and that's what I kind of wanted to do more, was like learn how to do some video production on the camera end and you know, get some of the lighting techniques right. And so that's what I kind of did instead. Sometimes you just need that break, you know?
Yeah.
Ain't no wrong with that. That said, Metal Kirby writes in.
Also, Cat, let's play Control. PS Plus. Oh, yeah. Get it. Play Control.
It's there. Yeah. Destruction All-Stars if you have a PlayStation 5.
Concrete Genie. Fantastic.
Concrete Genie. I mean, you got options. You know what I mean? Metal Kirby knows what I mean. And they write in asking this. As someone who recently has begun his trophy hunting, I have both hard platinums, Bloodborne and Sekiro, and easy ones like My Name is Mail, same here, and Road Bustle. I'm gonna write that down for
look up Road Bustle.
Exactly. I'm currently working on Rhyme and Concrete Genie. Any suggestions? Kyle, you're more of the trophy hunter than I.
Yeah.
What, he's got
there's
some
so
hard
many.
ones.
You do have some hard ones, which is fantastic.
Like Sekiro, shit.
Man, I mean, banging the drum a lot this episode.
Yeah.
I got the Control Platinum in 15 hours.
Yeah, Dad.
It's not that difficult. There are some tough spots, but it's pretty straightforward. Maneater is another fun one. It's pretty straightforward.
That one's a really fun one. That one will only take you like 10 hours, and it's a dumb fun 10 hours.
It really is. Yeah. Trying to think of some other great. You know what? I'm gonna pull up my account real quick. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Okay.
Hey TV, what's up? Oh, but PlayStation's in rest mode. Let's see if it turns on.
Let's see. Oh yeah. First off, I don't have that problem with rest mode. Everybody else has problems with rest mode. I don't.
See, here it is. Oh, okay, I was about to say. Usually it doesn't come on.
Really? Am I the only person on planet Earth that doesn't have this rest mode problem with their PS5?
You might be.
I got the best PS5. You're here to hear first, folks.
Immortals Phoenix Rising is fantastic.
Freaking-tastic. Yep.
If you want another easy one, look up Radalika Games. Just any of their games are great. Minus Freddy Spaghetti. Fuck Freddy Spaghetti. I put myself through that game. That game is frustratingly awful.
If we get a 1-star review on Apple Podcasts from Freddy Spaghetti, that might be the only 1-star I won't be mad at. But please rate us 5 stars.
Last Campfire.
Help us out. Last Campfire is great. Only 5-6 hours. It's a fun little puzzle game.
I mean, Spider-Man, both 2018, Miles Morales. 5 Dates is a great one as well. If you like FMV games, and 5 Dates is really awesome.
So much fun. And honestly, if you want a hard one, do Neo 2. I saw
If you really wanted another really hard one that I finally crossed off last year was Uncharted 4. It has that speedrun trophy where you have to beat it in under 6 hours. So if you like the challenge, there's plenty there for you. Yeah.
Now Todd Oxford writes in, would a PS Classic Vita edition, which had access to PSP, PS Vita, and PS Classics catalog, and could stream PS Now games, be a way to make a niche in the mobile gaming market? Make SD cards and R2 and LT triggers, ...
Todd.
It's that.
That's a dream, man. That's a dream right there.
I know. Sometimes we gotta let dreams go.
Hey,
I'm gonna be that again.
You follow us now. Shoo. We want this. I want this. Maybe not we, but I want this.
Yep.
Please. Yep. I know there is that adapter that you can get like the R2 L2 triggers on the Vita.
Yeah. And I think at this point, again, I've said it. I beat the drum on it. I think the Razer Kraken is like a mobile controller where you put your phone in between it. That's the future. That's a future. Yeah. Man. It's things like that for sure.
Do we get another PlayStation Classic?
No, that's dead.
You don't think we get a PS2 one or anything?
No, that thing was so hated. It's begrudgingly in my set. No, it's done. Z-Child writes in, with the pony being a technological wonder of the world. That's right. It's a series of tube. I wanted to ask a question like this. Since the PS3 days, Sony has been great about consoles being region-free. Have you guys ever imported any games? If you have, what's your favorite game that you've imported? Never in my life.
Never.
But I remember a time at GameStop, this guy's disk drive broke in his PS3. It had to import a JRPG. He threatened to beat me up because I said I couldn't take the game out of the console. He's like, I paid like $80 for this, bro. And I'm like, can't help you, bro. Yeah.
I personally have never imported anything. Just recently, our mutual friend Mike, my 6-1 indie pal, gifted me the Japanese version of Gnosia, which is the Switch game coming up very soon, which I'm very excited about. But a friend of mine in college, I think I've said this story before. I forgot the name of the anime, but there was a Japan-only version of this game. It was a PS2 game. And he put it in my PS3 in college. And there was something about that game that basically bricked my system. And I lost all my saves. I'm talking 40 hours into Final Fantasy 12. And ever since that point, never going back to even attempt that again. So that's been my only experience with imports. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm fine.
Never in my life. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, could you read this next question while I text my brother and say, stop calling me?
Absolutely. Lethal writes, so now that Bloodborne 2 is confirmed, in a perfect world, what additions to this sequel would you like to see that would topple what Bloodborne 1 brought to the table? Guess what? You can't. It's done. Bloodborne 1 is perfect.
Why did I have to read this?
Exactly. For me, I'd like for them to make the Chalice dungeons almost like a Forge world, where you can make any kind of level you want with different objects and structures and natural environments, and maybe even a large selection of beasts and enemies to mix and match their attack patterns, and make your own level and boss to share with the community. I think it's a way to keep the game very much alive, excluding any DLC from software might bring. Also, plenty of multiplayer modes and variety. Dark Souls 3 had the most mode options, but even then it was very limited on what it offered. The key to keep games like this alive is the multiplayer community, and that's why Dark Souls 3 is still kicking, edited.
There you go. So, all right. I'm all on board, Lethal. What you literally just said is what I want. That's what I just realized.
The editing is from me copying and pasting from Discord.
How dare you, sir?
I thought he self-edited his cursing.
He got into our show notes. What you said is what I want. I want to make my own challenge dungeons and send my friends straight to hell and have them resent me. That's what I really want. Like having just a chalice just set up where it's like for anywhere from like Ultimate Ninja Warrior to like, this is the worst thing ever. Kind of like having a Mario Maker style Bloodborne like experience on multiplayer. Awesome. The other thing that I would say is make it so that in From Games has this problem where not so much griefing, because like if you're in a world and you're set to PvP, you know what's about to go down. But a lot of people like do this weird way of quitting out that allows them to, even if they lose the fight, I think it's like they turn off the PS4 or whatever. Like, even if they lose the fight, they still have all their souls. That shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't get to quit out. Once you're engaged with someone, once you're in their world, if you should not be able to just take the unplug your console and you're fine. No, it should be always a constant state of alarm. You know. Mm-hmm. That's all I got. That's all I got on this. Kyle, I know you have no input. It's fine. It's fair. It's okay. Bloodborne 2 is happening. Again, end of this year, we're going to get an announcement. You got to believe. Marcus O'Neill writes in. The trophy room question here. Hi. Are there any genre of games you wish you could enjoy more? For me, I wish I enjoyed multiplayer shooters. Or really anything multiplayer. I feel like those that do are having so much fun, but I have never been able to get into them.
Hell yes, Marcus. I'm with you. I enjoy playing multiplayer from time to time, but like I would love to have a group of friends with a dedicated time of like, hey, we're hopping on, we're gonna go play some Apex or Fortnite, whatever.
With the boys.
The squad. Yeah. That is definitely something that I feel like I'm missing out on, but it's okay. I'm not gonna like. I don't think I'm missing too much. That sounds like a real fucking downer. Sorry.
No, it's fair.
The other one for me would be like real-time strategy games.
Really?
Like a Civilization. Like, yeah, I can't. I would love to, but I can't.
For me... So, Ray Martinez, he's going to really like this. I played a little Apex. I like it a lot. Man, my skill went out the window with that game. Oh my goodness. Speaking of multiplayer games that I've played. Games that I wish I could get into, but I just can't. Here's the biggest blind spot for me. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I know what it is.
JRPGs.
Yeah.
I saw, 13 Sentinels. On sale.
I want to get that one, yeah.
For $29.99. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll buy this instead of Neo. And then I saw it's like these like weird drawings of like these school children. And I'm like, what is it? And it's the thing of like, I know if someone walks into my house, someone walks into my room, and they see me playing this, I am automatically judged.
You shouldn't be, though.
And questioned about everything that I've ever thought of. They shouldn't. And their judgment shouldn't weigh on me, but it will.
I got you.
And even when I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is very strange. But I hear very good things, but I'm just it's very strange. I don't know.
I get it.
But like with JRPGs as a whole, it's maybe they're always a series I want to get into, and I don't think it's like the culture that is different for me, like a culture shock. I just think it's because the games are too long, and oftentimes this is like a Japanese thing in terms of like, Japanese culture. They really like tutorials. Me, I don't. Like, if I'm 9 hours in, I shouldn't be having to learn a new thing. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And like the game shouldn't be lasting just 100 hours or over 100 hours. So like I always want to get into Persona. And again, world looks cool. I love the art style, but I can't just get into it because when I hear, oh, I'm at the first dungeon and I'm 30 hours in, I'm like, Joseph ain't got time for that. Even though I'm in a global pandemic, got all the time in the world. It's just like, that's a lot of commitment. I don't feel like I commit to those games. But,
I gotcha. And also like gameplay side of things for more of like the traditional JRPGs, it is kind of like a passive kind of gameplay thing where you input a command and then it happens. Yeah. So it's very like management. It's not super engaging. So I get that side of things, but like,
ooh, you want to know another one? Like racing games, I've always talked shit about, but fighting games is one I've always wanted to get into. But I constantly eat shit every time I try it.
I buy fighting games to play it single player and never against anybody because I'm so bad.
I couldn't get past the Injustice 2 tutorial. That's how bad I am at fighting.
I get that.
Yeah, it's bad. With that, gang, that's been The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players, made for the players. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed making it. I like, this show so far this year. Been on fire. It's been on point. But before we go, Kyle, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. K-Step and on PlayStation, same name. Send me friend requests, compare my trophies with yours, and let's get up to what, 999 is the max? It'll never happen. Yep. One day. You can find everything I do covering indie games over at 61indie.com and at 61indie on Twitter. Have a very exciting video series that I'm planning out with my niece where we play games together, and that's going to go up on 61indie on YouTube. So check that out at some point in the next coming weeks. Kyle, we got some breaking news, not PlayStation related, but for the patrons. No, you'll like this news. Okay. You can find me over at PS Trophy Room over on Twitter. You can find the show over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. You can find me over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter as well. You can find the video version of this show and some more very special things that we'll be doing starting next week over at youtube.com/The Trophy Room, a PlayStation channel, I believe it's called, over on YouTube. And you can find the PlayStation podcast, or The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, over on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your RSS feeds, wherever you find your podcasts, you can find the show there. Please rate us 5 stars. Really does help us out. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you. Keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation. Let's dance in that post show, Joe. I just saw the news. Let's dance into that post show.